Attention everybody, I will be doing a rate my kit video here very soon. I know I'm kind of copying everyone else, but this is a great idea and I want to get more community involvement within my videos. So if you want to take part, you can go to my community tab and check out the information there. You can post it there following that information, or you can go to my new Certified History Nerd Discord, which will be linked below, and follow the information that's in there. So hope to see y'all's kits, and I hope you'll enjoy the video. Hi everybody, I'm Certified History Nerd, and today I'm back. I know it's been a little bit, and I know this isn't the impression that was voted for the most. I know it's the 25th one that was next, and I will get that done. That will come out hopefully later this week. I should have time this week to do it. This should come out early this week, and then that will come out later in the week, probably around Friday. I think I'm gonna have this scheduled to upload on Monday, or maybe today. This is my 11th Armored Cavalry impression. So I'm very excited to do this. This is one that I actually do reenact with, like actual events. So one of my second impressions that I actually do, and I'm kind of excited to start branching off away from First ID and do some other units for the Vietnam War. Of course, Vietnam is still my mainstay, and that's what I want. Still have most of my channel, but I am branching off, of course, to other wars and other time periods for impressions. But of course, I'm gonna still stick with Vietnam. And I'm excited to do some more Vietnam impressions. So let's get right into it. So the jacket's interesting. I got this at this place called Military Depot in College Station. It's like your most generic surplus store. It's got mainly modern stuff. But we found this, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a third pattern jacket. Now, of course, you can tell it's in pretty rough shape. It's got paint on it. A lot of the pockets have like some rips and tear. There was a few things I had to fix, but I mean, otherwise it looks great. And it didn't have a price tag on it, so I got it for I think $30 when it was like $40. So I'm very, very happy that I got this. So yeah, and I got an original 11th Armored Cavalry patch sewn on. That is the early / mid-war type patch. In late war they did have a slightly updated version that they used up until the 80s. However, that one was still seen by some units of the 11th Armored Cavalry late war. This is a 11th Armored Cavalry 1970 to 1971, and so this is pretty late war. It's the third pattern jungle fatigue jacket with the ripstop. I think this one's dated 70. I think, but yeah, both my jackets are dated 70. For pocket litter, I have a pin, and then I don't have much in my top pockets because since I'm wearing the flak vest, I don't want anything to like bulk up against it. So I just have what's usually in my top pockets and my bottom pockets. So I have 2 Chihoy bags, one with gum and playing cards, one with a pocket Bible and a letter from home. We have my lighter and my rosary at the bottom. And my 1969 dated third pattern jungle fatigue pants. In the pockets should be a hunting knife, a sea ration I typically keep in there, tripwire and paracord in the cargo pockets. On the belt, I have the standard army belt. What's interesting though with the gold buckle, what's interesting though about 11th is, especially late war, they actually started to use primarily the subdued belt buckle, so the black belt buckle instead of the big gold buckle, and that buckle was more similar to the World War II buckle. I don't have one, and this one has been seen. I have seen 11th guys actually using that buckle, so it is correct, but from my knowledge, most guys would be using the subdued belt buckle. I have my original third pattern jungle boots, which need to get conditioned, and I will after this. These are 1967 dated spike protective Vibrant Sole boots. We have USGI socks. For personal items, which you wouldn't really be carrying this into combat really, and I'll explain that a bit more with the actual like webbing. But we have Crown Royal bag, and in that bag we have my hygiene items, so a period-ish toothbrush, sea ration spoon, a actual period comb, and some toilet paper, as long as toothpaste. Utensils, which you probably wouldn't have the actual mess kit utensils. They didn't really use that in the mess kits too much in Vietnam. They mainly just ate out of the sea ration spoons or sea ration boxes and the ration boxes and all that. So I know I talk about that every time, but it's very important detail. We have soap in a soap box, a Vietnam era sewing kit, and some sunburn cream. OD7, wow, shirt, green shirt. This is my really faded one, so it kind of works out. We have my original helmet. I did kind of lose my bug juice, but it's fine for not having it for this impression, and I'll just get a new one eventually. We have my early war liner, which isn't, it'd be better if I still had that late war liner that I had, but this still works. We have I think it's a 74 dated cover, but it's an original cover, original band and original chin straps. Excuse me. For most 11th guys, they honestly, it's kind of similar to First Aid. They didn't have a whole lot in their helmet bands. However, late war, you do see a good amount of stuff in helmet bands. Usually about 2 or 3 things, sometimes just 1. But you still see a good amount of guys who just have nothing in their helmet bands. We have the baseball cap. This is an 80s one, but I think it's actually 70s. But it's better looking than my actual 71 dated one. And the reinforcement, the stiffener is in a lot better condition. It looks a lot better. I do have a staff sergeant pin on there, which technically for this impression, I'm not a staff sergeant. However, I just have it on there because I'm not taking it off and putting it back on because it's a bit of a pain. It's not the worst thing in the world, but centering it is not fun. For the equipment, since this is a mechanized infantry unit primarily, they did have, I think, a air mobile unit as well. I think one of the battalions was one of the regiments was air mobile. But most of them were mechanized infantry. They're called the Black Horse unit, of course, because they have the Black Horse in the patch. And their primary goal and usage was 113s, and being sent into a place either to get, if hey, I need reinforcements here quickly, so you send mechanized infantry because they can get there really quickly, or to evacuate people from the ground, which did happen. I don't remember what time period is, but there's an account of 11th guys actually saving some first ID guys, and so that's also something that will be interesting to go forth with, because first ID and 11th worked a lot together, so it kind of works out for me doing it. But so the equipment is very, very light. I'll show some photos. These are all the photos I kind of took and based my kit off of. So it's just a belt, 2 ammo pouches, a bayonet, and 1 canteen. So there's also no pack. All of that kind of stuff would be on the 113 or back at base, because you're not expected to go fight like days on end of combat and weeks on end of combat like standard infantry is. You're kind of an in and out army, or group. So you're only expecting to fight maybe with a couple hours to maybe a day of combat, and so you have just enough ammo to get you for a firefight or a small battle, and you don't need much water because you're getting in and getting out. The bayonet is just for utility purposes. Not every guy carried a bayonet, but it is pretty common for what I'm seeing. So I have the bayonet on there because it's also just a great utility knife, besides also bayonet usage, which it was not used for at all, really. And no suspenders because you're wearing all this underneath the flak vest. Typically, I don't see guys wearing suspenders under the flax. Early war, if they were wearing the flax, probably would have seen the suspenders, maybe, but most guys wearing suspenders aren't wearing, most guys wearing flax aren't wearing suspenders. And I just have 2 grenades in the front. That's the most common I kind of see with guys in the 11th, is they have their grenades on the front and not on the backs, which I also do see a bit in First ID as well. It just kind of depends. So we have a 3/4 flak vest. This is I think a 68 dated flak vest. It's a first contract, which is pretty cool, but it doesn't have the epaulets, so it's more like a second contract, but it is a first contract, which is pretty cool. First aid pouch up there, of course, don't want to put it on your belt. You can, though. I have seen people do it, but also some guys put them on their flak vests for easy access, and it's in the same place it would be if it was on the suspenders, and a grenade on the grenade holding pins. I usually don't like to put them there, especially for reenactments, because if you went prone or went to crouch, those grenades love to fall out, and I don't want to lose grenades. And that's probably something they still also faced with in Vietnam. But you do see guys doing it. If I had my smoke grenade, which should be done actually sometime pretty soon, that's what I would put up there. I have seen guys put smoke grenades up there. And in the two front pockets, I don't have anything in there. I don't really know if, from the photos, I don't really see many guys actually putting things in there. I've actually really got to look back through those again. But of course, you could use those to carry extra ammunition, maybe a canteen of water, or any other personal items. They probably carry just more ammunition in there. Bandoliers were also seen. Some guys, for the equipment, sometimes guys didn't even have canteens. And so, you know, like, because, like, again, like, you're not supposed to be fighting, you know, long battles. But I've also seen guys who have no ammo pouches and, like, just canteens or just a canteen, and they have, like, 2 bandoliers or something like that to carry all their ammo and stuff. So I don't have a bandolier because I don't have a second one to go with it. Plus, I liked this web setup that I saw. I thought it was pretty cool. We have the manual for the M16, so operations and cleaning. And then you have the M16A1, which was adopted in 1969, so this is perfectly acceptable for this late war time period. It's my beautiful H&R M16A1 that has a bunch of original furniture on it. So yeah, all right, let's go see what it looks like on me. And here's what it looks like on me. So for a little quick history, the 11th ACR, or 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, came into Vietnam in 1966, and I believe they left in 1972. I don't think they left in 73. I'm pretty sure it was 1972, but I'm going to fact check myself on that. Put it up on the screen. They, of course, are nicknamed the Black Horse Regiment for the black horse on their patch insignia. Like I said, they were mechanized infantry, so what this meant was that they weren't like just standard infantry. Like their infantry was attached to M113s and armored columns and armored formations. 11th also had access to M48 Pattons. I think they had some other tanks as well. I'm not certain on that. Jeeps, mutts, and all kinds of deuce and halves and stuff like that. But the 113 is their most famous piece of equipment and their most famous vehicle. At the Museum of American GI, we reenact the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, and we have 11th Armored Cavalry 113, or 113 painted for the 11th Armored Cavalry, which is pretty dang cool. So the 11th, this mechanized infantry, they're a lot different in how they are equipped. And so the flak jacket is one of the biggest things. Of course, the Marines are known for wearing flak jackets. The Army is not that well known for wearing flak jackets. However, air crewmen and tank crewmen were very well known for wearing flak jackets and flak vests. The mechanized infantry, though, would also wear these flak vests because they are spending a lot of their time in the 113, traveling around, going in columns, and these columns would get ambushed. And when you're spending most of your time in combat inside of a vehicle, if that vehicle starts getting lit up by small arms fire, those bullets might not penetrate the armor, but they will hit the armor with such force that it can either dent it and cause spalling. And so no one wants, hot pieces of sharp metal flying around and going into them. So that's what these vests were for, was to protect against spalling. However, of course, they would also wear them a lot of times when they're out in combat. I've seen a couple photos of 11th Armored Cavalry Mechanized Infantry. Great photo that I put up of them riding on top of the 113s, which is dope. Have not done that exactly yet. I have ridden on 113s. I've sat on top of the 113, but never ridden on top of one like that. So I really want to. Of course, safety issues with that. So, like, they may not let us. But some guys didn't wear flak vests, but most of the time they would be wearing their flak vests or flak jackets. Like I said, their equipment was very light. They're really only carrying water and ammunition and grenades. They're really not carrying much else besides that. I've also seen some guys go without without jackets and just the shirts. So I have also seen that before. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time.